We're talking mass transportation with an emphasis on aviation law right now.
Yes, and joining us to do that is Jamie Leibovitz from Nurenberg, Paris law firm. Jamie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, Jamie.
And I wish the audience could actually listen to our conversation before we came on, because I think aviation law, when you talk about law practices, you really don't speak about that. So in layman's terms, what exactly is aviation law?
Well, aviation law is, generally speaking, representing individuals who've suffered some form of injury as a result of an aviation accident, or families of loved ones who sadly would have perished in an airplane crash. And fortunately, and I've been practicing law for over 30 years now, the statistics show that air transportation is one of the, if not the safest mode of transportation in the United States. So I'm happy to report that air travel is quite safe. It's very regulated. Pilots are well trained in the United States. Aviation aircraft have come a long way in terms of their design and safety features. And so you don't hear about commercial airline disasters in the United States like you did 30 years ago when I first started practicing law. So that's the good news.
Yeah.
What's the bad news?
Well, the bad news is that we should have zero aviation accidents, not only in the United States, but around the world. And what we witnessed many months ago in the Alps, for example, that Germanwings pilot who was a rogue pilot, purposely flew an aircraft into the side of a mountain in the Alps and killed all on board. He had some mental health issues, and unfortunately Lufthansa, which is the mothership carrier for Germanwings, which is the carrier that was operating the airplane, did not identify that problem. And you know, the means exist to do so. And I think that airlines, particularly those that are outside the United States, should pay more attention to the mental health, not just the physical health of pilots. And you know, so that is an area that needs a little bit more work. And but fortunately here in the United States, I think we're well ahead of all other developed countries in terms of aviation.
I think after 9/11, we've all become just so aware of our surroundings and, you know, things in general as we travel. But it's still a scary thing for a lot of people. And, you know, we were talking in the commercial break, and you told a story that really resonated with me about, you know, you and your wife traveling. You traveled separately by air.
When our kids were young, we did.
Right. And then you get to your destination, and I'll let you tell the rest. What happened?
Well, on that flight, I was flying next to a pilot who was just flying to his destination airport to pick up an airplane and then fly for an airline that he was working for. And he had asked me, well, when you get to the airport, how are you getting from the airport to the resort where you and your wife are staying? I said, well, we're going to meet baggage claim, and I'm going to rent a car, and then we're going to travel together in one car to the resort. He said, do you realize that you are more safe flying together than you are driving together, because the incidence of motor vehicle accidents is much higher than it is flying in an airplane. So after that experience, my wife and I changed the way we traveled, and you know, we would travel together.
And that's the purpose for you coming on here, to really basically to inform and educate everybody watching that if you're afraid of mass transportation, whether it be a plane, train, bus, or anything, you should be safe. But that's where you would come in and make sure that these companies are doing the right thing to make sure that the people in charge are mentally capable and physically capable.
And that is true, and that's why I say in 30 years, the number of aviation accidents have gone down, and I attribute that in great part to the work that we've done and the actions that we've brought that have helped bring to light the deficiencies and the failures that had occurred at airlines and with airplane manufacturers. So we're fortunate to report that the skies are safe, and I think people should feel much assured when they get on an airplane.
Well, thank goodness for you and what you do.
And if you want to feel more assured and talk about negligence and what you should expect when traveling, just go to their website and contact them. nphm.com. Jamie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that story will stick with me forever.
I know. You know,
simple story, but it's going to stick.
Simple, but doesn't it? It will with you too.